Hi there, welcome back to my channel. This is Reika Does Blender, and today we are going to finish this fairy scene on the screen. So last time we have texture painted the butterfly. So what I'm going to do is just select the whole butterfly, press RZ and just rotate it a little bit. And I'm going to select this flower, go to top view, press G and Y and put it backwards, and maybe RZ and G and X to put it sort of towards the back. Okay, and I also rotated the mushrooms so they sort of face the butterfly. Now, before we start setting up the scene, I'm gonna go back to my shading workspace and make sure that I pull up the roughness of the butterfly so it doesn't reflect the light. And also do the same for the flowers as well. I think they share the same material, so that's fine. Okay, let's go back to the layout workspace. So at the moment, if you go to rendered view, it's quite dark because we haven't set up any lights just yet. And for some reason, material preview mode as well, but I'm just going to switch off from this drop-down menu, switch off the scene world. So now you can see our scene. Right, so we have the folder called camera and light that we hid earlier. So I'm going to turn this on. And with the camera selected, if you click on this view, you can see that I've already set up my camera. So with your camera, you can move with G. So if you press G and X, you can move your camera sideways, G and Z up and down, G and Y. If you go to side view, then you can bring the camera closer or further away. And if you click on this icon, then it goes back to camera view. If you click on this one, this little locket underneath it, you lock the camera and you will only be moving the scene and the camera stays in the same position. So that's great. Now let's add some light. So we already have a light in here. I'm going to press G and I move this light in front of the scene. Go to the light properties and I'm going to turn this light into an area light. Now at the moment it's up there, so I'm going to press G, then Z to bring it down. Go to side view, and with this little yellow dot, you can grab it and turn your camera towards the scene. Okay, great. I'm going to press S and X, S and Z, and make it a little bit bigger and just rotate it. So now it's a little bit bright. It's on 1000 watts. So I'm going to bring it down to around 20. That's much better. And if you have a look at your render view, you can see the effects of it. And I'm going to change the color to a turquoise color. Press S and Z to make it a bit bigger. Let's have a look in the camera view. Okay, maybe scale it a little bit down like this. And just bring it down a little. I'm going to select my camera once more and just do a little bit of an adjustment. Maybe make this light just a little bit lighter. Okay, great. Go to top view, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift D and duplicate this light. RZ, make it a little bit stronger and change the light to something like purple. Let's have a look at the camera. It's a little bit too strong. Let's bring it down to around 25. Okay, go back to top view, press Shift D to duplicate and bring one to the left hand side, RZ to rotate it. Maybe press G, RZ. And this one, I'm going to make it a yellowish color. So look at the camera. I think this one I'm going to make it a little bit stronger and maybe change it to, I mean, you can play around with these colors. It's absolutely fine. I think what I'm going to do also is just direct it that way, so towards those flowers. Okay, that's much better. Right, go back to top view. And this time I'm going to add a light to around here. So shift right click to place your cursor, shift A to add light, and I'm going to add a sunlight this time. So if you go back to camera view now, it's not quite strong because the strength isn't only 1 watt. So I'm going to set this up to 120. And what I want is to set it to a really warm light. And it's pointing downwards. So I'm going to point it to the back of the trees. Lift it up a little bit. Let's have a look at it now. Okay, so you can see the effect in the back of the trees. Let's try 200. Okay, that's great. Right, I'm gonna go back to my shading workspace just for a moment. Go to my world, and this, the strength, I'm going to change it to 0.05. And this is still quite dark, so 0.1. And you can see my HDRI is so much lighter. And maybe just turn it around a little bit. Let's see. To something like this. So the sun is somewhere here at the moment. I don't want the sun behind it because that's gonna make it too bright. Now let's go back to the layout workspace, and I like this one. Let's have a look around the colors. I mean, you can choose whatever color you like. I kind of like these purpley red colors. It looks like the sunset. And I kind of like them very dark, very contrasty. Let's try it if it's just a little bit stronger. Let's try 500. That's a little bit too much. Let's try 300, and that's great. Okay, now there's one more thing I want to do. Go to the render properties. And under the color management, I'm going to set this to standard, and I'm going to set it to very high contrast. So you can see now it's really contrasted, but that's fine because at the final render, it's going to look pretty nice. You can also set the exposure if you want to, and the gamma. Maybe I'll leave it on high contrast instead of very high contrast. Okay, that's great. Now, if you go to your output properties, here you can set up what the file format will be. So it can be JPEG or PNG. I'm going to go with a PNG. And you can set it up what you're going to call your file and which folder you're going to save it into. So I'm going to call it render1 and accept it. And also here, I'm going to choose cycles. You can go with EV, which is so much faster. And what I'm going to do is turn on my GPU. If you have a GPU, you go to Edit, Preferences, System, and you can choose your GPU here under CUDA, under Optics, and then close it down. So there's my GPU. I have denoise turned on and I set the time limit to 4 seconds. And now if you press F12 or go up here to the render and click on render image, it will render out your image. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to close this down and go to my compositing workspace and click on new. Okay, so now you can see this is the image, but I don't really want it to appear here. So I'm going to click on backdrop to make it disappear. And I'm going to press N to make that box disappear. And here is my crosshair. You can see that little X, and I'm going to pull out a new window. And this one, I'm going to turn it into my image editor. And from here, I'm going to choose my render result. Zoom out a little bit. And here in this window, in the compositing window, you can see some nodes. So this is your render layers. So this is the picture you have rendered out. And there's your output and your viewer. Press Shift-A to add, filter, and click on glare. And put it in between here. So you can see it's all plugged in. And now at the moment it's on streaks and you can see it's very strong. And I'm going to change this to bloom. Now bring down the strength to whatever strength you want. So I kind of like it like this. And I'm going to change the tint to a turquoise color. Actually, maybe something like this. I'm going to try fog glow as well. That's much better. I like this one better. So I'm going to leave it on that. Put that on high and just trying out some colors. Whichever I like the most. I think this is the best one, but it's still a little bit too strong. So I'm going to bring it down and that's much better. You can also change the size of your glare. I'm going to put that back to medium instead. Okay, right. So I think I'm happy with this. So I'm going to save this image and call it final render. And now when I open my picture, you can see this is my final render. It might be a little bit too much with the glow, but that's okay because you can just go back here and change the strength to 0.5 and then it will change here. So hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial and you found it useful. And if you did, to support my channel, make sure you click on like and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.